Friends, fiends! I'm guessing you want a refresher from last time. Well, you're in luck, because I'm feeling quite chatty today. So, the opalescent menagerie went poorly for Nax. It also went poorly for Bonham. Taslinn assumed a leadership role with the Drow and gave Yusuf the keys to the halls of oddities. The only thing she didn't do is sit down and have a conversation with Nax. Yeah, you heard right. Magic. I suppose I can elaborate by hopping right into these demon days.
Taslinn, you have Nax's room to yourself. Talonthane eventually leaves with Yusuf and Feder, and they go about doing their own thing. But it's just you in this very empty room with your mind and maybe his mind.
I am going to go over and lock the door.
Good plan.
And I will. What do I want? I feel like that might be a little weird at first.
Hey, shitbird.
Well, no. So, like, my initial thought was like I would go over. It would be really sweet. I would like go over and lay on the bed with him, but and you know. But I think what I'm gonna do is I'm just going to. Does he? Correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't remember it entirely. But does he have like a chest at the foot of his bed, or no?
Let's take a look.
And if he doesn't, I'm gonna do something else.
Hold on a second. There we go.
No, he does not. Okay, cool. So what I'll do instead is I'm gonna go over and I'm gonna sit in the chair at his desk. And I am going to pop my feet up onto the desk.
Sure.
And so the way that I read the text for Ring of Mind Shielding is that you do not have to be attuned to it to talk to whoever's in the ring.
Right.
It just happens.
Right. And the converse is that you couldn't stop them from talking to you.
Exactly. And so I'm just going to stare at the ceiling and make sure that I'm reaching out to whether he wants that connection or not. Like, I'm gonna be like, nope, we're talking here, do the mental knock on the on the ring door and just be like, so when were you gonna fucking tell me about this?
There is a long pause. And are you saying this out loud, or are you thinking it just in your head?
It's all in my head.
In your head?
Mm-hmm.
In the matters of conversations in the mind, it's hard to really say that you hear a long sigh, but there is a feeling. This is more the way this conversation is going to go for those who are listening is that if this room is going to be silent, there is no noise other than just the water outside, the stillness of the room, the steps running around and moving in and out of armor in a different room, and sandwiches and food and things like that. Conversations that you've already heard, but you're feeling these words, and you feel a sigh, but then you feel a smirk. Which part? Nax says very slowly, almost echoed like first as it comes in. Which part?
And I make it's not physically, but like there's the mental kind of like just gesture to everything. And this part, the dying part, the ring part, the preservation part, you knew a high likelihood.
There's a longer pause. I knew, in a sense, your arrival here kind of changed things. In that, sure, there's always been a risk. My life has been attempted many, many times. When you left the first time, it was the chromatic vipers invading our ship, coming for me, being beaten back. There's the Dominion with seizures and searches. There's the deal with Bonham. There's always been an element of I could die. But I think when you arrived, I decided to try and poke the hornet's nest. I feel like maybe you ascribe a lot more pre-planning to things that I do than maybe I have done. And maybe I've given you that an indication that I'm some mastermind.
You've always been better at cards than I have.
There's an element of bluffing, yes. But I've also had terrible hands for a lot of it. But as far as what I knew something big was going to happen. And pieces started showing up, like this ring, like you. It felt prudent to, if you could feel a chuckle, come up with a backup plan. Or just see what happens.
Did it ever occur to you what effect it would have on me to watch you die in front of me?
Not until I showed up here. And for some reason, there's a surge of those memories. And they're painful. But this is third-person account. Like, you're seeing a version of your memories that you witnessed, you were there for, as if someone were watching them. Mm-hmm. I do now.
And like for a moment he says that, and like I kind of mentally put the wall up, but then physically actually, like, you know, take my legs off the desk and like sweep everything off the desk.
As papers fall down, yeah.
And like break a couple of decanters against the wall. And
Oh no, that was my best one.
and then we'll compose myself and sit back down in the chair. And kind of let that wall come back down, reconnect, and as calmly as possible be like, so did you have a backup plan for this backup plan?
Makes no sense to lie, so no, I didn't really.
So I'm gonna have to figure out how to get you out of this.
If that's what you want, I'm not gonna lie. I don't wish my story were over, but if it is, at least in the physical form, then I don't know. Maybe it's for the best. Maybe me just being stuck to a ring is just punishment enough, or maybe it's time for me to go and this is just an inn at the edge of it all. But I do not under any circumstance feel owed any further attempts to fix this.
So for once, you only thought one step ahead instead of three?
Embarrassing, is it not?
Well, not if it was because I had that effect on you.
Oh, well, chaos might be the stronger thing. I mean, look at what it did, what it changed. This city is different. I don't know if you feel it. Well, there's a moment of chuckle. I actually think you feel it. That's not necessarily I can't see, but I feel something from you that feels like, I don't know. I feel the vibe, and it feels different.
Vibe check.
Yeah, vibe check. No, it feels like things can't go back to normal, and maybe that's your effect. That things are stagnant or in need of change, and you are the bringer of change. I don't know. I'd say I'm talking out my ass, but it's more like I'm talking out of your brain or this ring.
Let's not get existential about it.
I was never good at that.
No. Well, things have changed even prior to this, because I'm not sure if you noticed suspicions that the king is actually dead. Don't know everything there, but...
And, stick a pin in that, since I could see your emotional response to my death. Put a pin in that idea. We'll come back to it. I feel like we still have more conversation ahead of us.
Oh, yes, we do. But for now, your body, strangely, is just stuck.
Well, you sense a feeling of amused surprise? Normally, there is kind of a time limit for this. Interesting.
It's quite stuck. It has none of the normal signs of death. It has none of the normal signs of decay. We'll see how it goes. I mean, it's been less than 24 hours, but there's a natural process to a body when it's killed.
Yeah.
And none of that has happened.
Huh. Strange.
It's almost like your physical form, much like this, has disconnected. It has also disconnected.
Suggesting there might be a way back into my body.
Suggesting that there's a way to reconnect everything, yes.
I mean, that is an interesting conversation to have. And that is your interest, is to reconnect me?
I mean, if you don't want to, I don't have to.
Well, I only ask because I'm curious. It seemed, and maybe I'm misreading the emotion, a burden.
What, carrying you? Always.
Solving the problem that my disconnectedness has created.
No, that's not a burden. You not being here is the burden.
It's funny, all the things you get wrong. When you're left to think about things, leaning back on a desk, at the bottom of a not shipworthy boat. Thinking about things that could have been, people who could have been.
It's funny how playing the field instead of the person can lead you astray.
Yeah. What lessons learned. I'm sorry I did this to you. And I'm sorry that it's not as sincere as it should be. I'm not sure what I think, actually.
That's okay, because I think once I fix this, I'm going to kick your ass.
You feel a laughter. And it's more of a laughter that kind of wells up in your own self, too. Well, I would probably deserve it.
And if you decide that you want to make the choice to leave this ring and go off into the afterlife, I hope you know that I have a particular connection to a certain god, and I will bring you back and kill you again.
Yeah, you do. You do have a interesting arrangement. And as he says this, you are aware that he is grasping things about you that he's not used to. Like, he understands the arrangement you have. Mm-hmm. Unless you're actively letting me know you're blocking things, he is actually able to get these things because it's just his mind is in you. Like, his mind is in you.
Nah, he can. That's fine, because I want him to know how much trouble he will fucking be in.
And there is a long period of time maybe 5 minutes, which do feel interminable almost, before he says, well, I guess then I probably should come back. At least to pay my debt of ass-kickery. Mm-hmm. I wouldn't want to deal with your particular patron. Although, there's something distant about that.
It's temporary.
Huh. Interesting. A lot of chaos you bring with everyone you meet. Can't say I hate it.
Can't say you didn't teach it to me.
Well, what a weird place to end up. Inside your mind.
Well, I guess it's only fair you're inside because there's... Nope, you're always inside. That's, yep. We're just right back to same old patterns.
Well, same patterns, just different format, I guess.
Mm-hmm. Just so you know, I took the liberty of, lending out some of your items.
You feel... Well, you actually do this too. Like, there are some of these things, emotions that this soul inside this ring evoke that, on a very basic level, kind of make you feel them as well. You feel a smirk itch, kind of pull, tug at your mouth. Fair. Some of those things are fun, and some of those things are less fun. I trust your stewardship of those particular things. I'm sure you may have to learn about them, as I never wrote stuff down about what they did. That would spoil the fun.
Anything that I should know about the items that you have on display right now?
Well,
Dangers to avoid.
don't let out the stalker, that's for one thing.
That, yeah. Mm-hmm.
That thing would take out the entire boat.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah.
That thing still and will forever give me the creeps, so it's staying where it is.
It has told me what it will do in no uncertain terms. So, yes, maybe sometime I will figure out how to project that into your mind. He can receive. He's not able to do too much projection. This is new. This is a new thing. What? I mean, that the armor, I would say, is the one that I know least about. You may need to have someone professional look at it. But I will tell you how I found it and what I found inside of it. I found a skeleton inside of it, singed, marred, and black, and still preserved. So, there might be something to it. You could always ask the sadness over down in the Wang Doodle.
Yeah.
If you can endure that. She just talks. But she can identify it. But just, I guess I would say with the armor, be cautious. With the loot, if you know someone who can use it, cool. That thing has the ability to make people do what you want at a much stronger level. That is not to be ignored. But everything else is what it is. I'm proud of the dragon. The stuffed dragon head. That one's pretty cool.
Well, that one's just a, trophy piece.
Yeah. To prove that I am a potent soldier or potent foe.
I just let out a little cough at potent.
Yeah. Fair.
Well,
I sense anger.
oh, there's plenty. There's plenty. But there's no point to it right now. So what we're going to do moving forward is I will not stash you away
Okay.
as long as you behave. Don't start trying to do funny business in there.
Oh, like trying to control your limbs or something. Not that I don't think that's the parameters of this thing.
Oh, I don't think so either, but
Yeah.
you can certainly, pop up and give images or thoughts in very inopportune times, so...
What? You don't want to have me in your mind as you and your friend are together?
There's like a very brief like, not quite what I was thinking. Not totally against that, but I certainly have quite a few other people that like to poke in. So at least in general, when there's lots of noise, keep the noise down.
Okay. I will keep the parties in here to a minimum. The revelry light. And you get the sense that he finds some of this very funny as well, very humorous, that he's just an essence in a ring in your head.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I know for a fact that you like to test the bounds of what you're allowed and capable of, so that's why I'm not discouraging you from doing that.
Right.
Just be choice about when and where and how, please.
Sure. I will behave.
Thank you. You might come back to a few less decanters of alcohol.
Well, small price to pay. A couple of decanters and a whole lot of ass kicking. Got something to look forward to.
Mm-hmm. We've got quite a bit ahead, so I am going to busy myself, clean up.
Yeah. Before we go, I don't know if that makes any sense. Before we
Pause?
pause this, something has been sticking with me. Just has been bugging me about the thing, especially when I watched you replay it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, when he died,
Mm-hmm.
it felt very undead-like.
Mm-hmm.
Can you play for me? And he's struggling with the terminology. Your fight with the the creature in the Mortberg. Can you visualize that for me?
I suppose it was different. There was something inside, I guess.
Inside, like
inside the body that this one did not have, and then I just, visualized the fight.
it?
Yeah.
Huh. And the other one didn't have it.
No.
Well, let me think on that. Something's weird about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, something's very weird about that. I don't like that it's different. And that could mean something else.
Mm-hmm. I don't like that it's different either, and I plan on attempting to talk to certain someones, attempting, because there's no guarantee that I will, and see if there's some knowledge on it. Investigate.
Yeah, worthwhile. I will. I'll think about it and chime in if I can.
Mm-hmm.
If that's how this thing works.
I think so. If that's anything, if this functions anything like my sword, yeah.
Oh yeah, that.
You're going to be highly amused by Cass whenever he's out.
Great. Well, hopefully he never comes out of the sword.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. And there is
Shit.
shit.
I'm okay. Never mind.
You gotta roll for the sun has risen.
I realized that dawn came across, and I was kind of like, oh shit, I didn't do my roll, but we're good. Don't have to nix anything.
Ooh. And he kind of there's an understanding. Gee whiz. Outside noise and puppy.
Inside, outside.
Happy all the time. There's an understanding of this trade and a note of disapproval. Huh. Not sure about this one.
Oh.
Don't lose yourself. For starters, I'm in here. Let me see what I can do. Let me test some edges of... Maybe a little bit naughty with some of these deals you've made and see what we come up with.
Okay. I'm fine with that. Just don't, we're dealing with some serious tinkering here, and just don't make any fundamental changes, please.
No. Nothing quite as apocalyptic. I'm going to keep an eye out. And you notice that he's really focused on that alignment changey thing. And you've never encountered this with him. He's never played this emotional card in front of you with almost like a disapproval. Mm-hmm. Like, I didn't like this. Mm-hmm. I don't like this about you. There's never been that level.
Yeah.
And it's a weird feeling to have despite all this conversation.
There's definitely a split, and the second that I start feeling it, I'm like, nope, we're going to put a shield over that so he can't see this. But there's definitely a split second where I'm like, oh no, daddy's mad.
Yeah. And you sense there's a bit of a retreat, not a running away, but more of a sitting back. Mm-hmm. And just
doing the sit back and the finger steeple.
Yep.
Yeah.
And you find yourself once again on the desk doing this finger steeple, but he is willing to engage more if you are, but he realizes that time is not on your side.
Question, John.
Yes. Answer maybe?
As we are, talking and having this connection, and given the whole seas spirits aspect of everything.
Yeah.
Is there ever a point where, and you could be like, no, and decide to throw this in later if you feel like, having that element of chaos, but is there ever a point where, as we are talking and this connection is growing, I actually start to physically see him like a spirit?
We'll have to see.
Okay.
At the moment, it's mainly inside you as a presence, a feeling. It feels a little bit different. An interesting thought, and one that even Nax himself picks up on and pin that one in.
Oh, great. I just gave him more ammo to try and push the boundaries.
And you get to this exchange that unless you specifically put a wall up and using literal language to say you're putting a wall up or that's not allowed, there isn't much that he is not going to be able to experience through you.
Okay.
At least from more of an essence of in the mind, emotion. It's not going to be visual. He's not going to be able to see anything you see unless you emotionally respond to it.
Yeah.
So if it's just oh, it's a cobblestone, he's never going to see it. But if, man, I hate that cobblestone, he's going to sense anger at a cobblestone piece.
Yeah.
So you have to actively, in this, mechanically, say you're going to block it out.
Okay.
And because of the deeper nature of this, no rolls are required. You just show what you will and block what you will.
Got it.
He is a resident at Taslinn's Inn, and he abides by those rules.
Yeah, he's along for the ride.
Yes.
So I'll just let him kind of, sit back and steeple his fingers and be like, we'll pick this up later. I need to go check in on some people.
So now the question is, does this only last the 4 hours of your long rest? Or do you use it to just kind of then the remainder to rest? Everyone else is still resting, still within the 4 hours.
Yeah, I feel like this would probably have taken up maybe hour and a half or so, not the full time. But I will use the rest of my time to scry.
Okay. Because they'll in order to get the full rest, Yusuf and Feder are going to have to probably be out until about
Yeah.
noonish.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the activity in the boat is more defensive, so it's not... Light is going to be the enemy of their sleep, more so than any of the drow. But for you, yes, you have some scrying you can do.
Yeah. So I'm going to check in on first little thing.
Okay. I mean, technically he was with you guys at Hoos, so he's probably... We should probably suggest that maybe...
Oh, that's right. Fuck. I've already met. Okay, never mind. I
stayed.
completely forgot about
You know
all
what?
of that.
Go ahead, scry. As you scry, you realize he'd never walked with you guys, but he walked with you guys from the lift. So go ahead. Yeah. He is
Eaten.
no. His role is something like
He gets a +5.
+5. And what's the DC on that?
The DC has changed slightly. The DC is now 17.
Jeez. Okay. He just doesn't make it. You see him chilling in Hoos and just hanging out, putting a hand against the wall. He was too interested in Hoos to even bother letting himself be known that you get making any noise. None at all. He just stayed. Feder probably did see and just in the sick things forgot. He was never unnoticed. But as far as you know, he never actually walked with us. He never actually followed us. And he's just enjoying the presence of Hoos. And Hoos seems to be in kind, responding well.
And I definitely, Nax would probably pick this up too, just so you're aware. There's definitely a moment of okay, I'm fine with this. He is nice and protected. And then there's also a moment of why am I having this emotional response to him?
and your frustrations are met with also another feeling of amusement, but attachments. Okay.
Yeah, so there's just that second where I'm kind of but I'm not big sister. Why am I okay. And then I will scry on Daddy Dearest.
Daddy Dearest.
That fucker.
He's what, -15?
Yes.
Oh, he rolled a nat 1. That idiot. This is funny. As you start to scry this and you see a rundown shack atop of a tavern.
Uh-huh.
And you see, trying to avoid physical attacks from Fee, your dad, and a furbolg off to the corner being what? But also kind of amused. And eventually she tackles Cheshire and gives him a good bop on the head, and he's out.
Mm-hmm.
And then the last thing you hear is well, that's a bit much from Kiki, and then she starts to hog time as the vision goes away.
I just sit there and go, it's really not. And there's a momentary just yeah, get him, Fee.
Because you can't imagine that anyone's ever told her who this strange man is. Mm-hmm. And given that he was there, it was probably clear what he was looking for. Mm-hmm. It got a bit of a surprise. Uh-huh. So yes, that is Cheshire's unfortunate situation at the moment.
And then the last thing that I will do is, because I know we did it yesterday, which was only a few hours ago, technically, but I will also scry on Esvel just to make sure she's still alive.
Sure. Yeah.
She's at a -10, I think.
Cool. 0. Great. It takes a second, and eventually you see her once more in a lower level of this place. It looks dungeon-y in a way. It's hard to tell. You can only imagine that, given who you've seen interrogating her, that the beauteous few have something of their own dungeon to work with.
Yeah.
But where? It's hard to say. You see one particular woman kneeling down with a knife and kind of moving her face aside, and it's bruised and bloodied, and she's asking her questions, talking her down, getting her, wearing her down verbally. And you see that her armor, her leathers are a little bit more blue in nature, but she still has similar red hair to Esfel, similar freckles. There's kind of a look that's a little bit like they look alike in a way. And she just cuts, talks, leans in very close, nose to nose, cuts. And Esfel is fighting it. She's still alive.
Okay.
But she is having a rough go of it. But she's not broken. And as you start to back out of the vision, you hear her say, "Moon petal."
Oh boy.
But like not necessarily to the one ahead, and it confuses the lady cutting at her. But she says, "Yeah, moon petal," very weakly and hoarsely.
I will unlock the door, get a hold of Talonthane.
He's rested. He's doing his best to rest, while, like in the this is his break time, but he does sit up and
Yeah,
he's like,
and just
yes.
who would you recommend to go out and scour the city to find, a particularly difficult place to find?
Who would I have do that?
Yes. Is there somebody that is better than all the others?
No, they're all pretty much the same. I can send a person out.
Okay, that's fine. You rest. And then I just go in and start looking for the first person that seems competent.
Yeah. You find him on top
Yeah.
deck.
You. So
Yes, ma'am.
I need you to go out into the city and go over. I need to know where the Beauteous Few keep prisoners, where the headquarters of the Chromatic Vipers are. There's missing information there, and there's somebody that I need, and I need to know that.
Oh, sure. I can do that for you immediately. I can head out and go look.
Yes,
And see what we can
please.
find.
Thank you.
I'll probably start closer to their headquarters itself. That it's a pretty well made out bathhouse. It's very big.
Oh, I'm aware.
Yes. But I'll start there and let you know.
Be very cautious about the questions that you ask and how you're seen.
Indeed.
I'm sure you know.
I'll take the greatest care.
Thank you.
Good luck with all this.
Well, we're going to do what we can.
Indeed. And he sighs at the whole circumstance. And he leaves promptly. Grabs a loose rifle along the side and slings it over his back, and he scurries off very quickly. Yep. And that kind of brings out the end of this long rest for everyone. It'll be about noon when everyone finally wakes up. And it's light of day.
And I just once again think to myself, I'm like, man, you really get so much more done when you don't have to sleep.
Yeah, Feder, so you awake and Taslinn just like, all right, yeah, we did so much.
I'm tempted. I know at some point we're going to end up just running and I'm going to be fine and it'll just be taking levels of exhaustion, just because, I was down 4 hit points and nothing else was really wrong, but.
Yeah. And yeah, this counts as a long rest for everybody. Feder, your journal starts to warm up as you look at it, and it is a note from your Aunt Fee.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Caught a strange but attractive man making advances on your friend Kiki. He is hogtied and awaiting further orders. Then, can I keep him?
Oh boy. I write back. Short and annoying? ? Fancy cloak? ?
And you get back, fancy cloak.
I just kind of go, ha! Well, and I just kind of dust myself off and just, little prestidige or whatever, and just kind of put myself together for the morning. And I'll check in with the kind of front of the boat guards and be like, little brat dropped by with anything for me while I was out.
it takes a minute as they confer among themselves and. Yes. Hold on 1 second. One from up on the crow's nest comes down. Yes, I did see some little kid and dealt with him. Let me get it for you. This you get a piece of paper. Something about a schedule. The place is closed down.
Okay.
No current events in regard to that at the moment.
Very interesting.
Lots
right
of
on.
unhappy people. A lot of people who are interested in the show. He gives you a piece of paper, and it is a canceled notification.
Yeah.
And it wasn't. It was actually this bond heart against another guy.
Yeah, sure.
Kind of a filler episode, if you will.
Were these specially made, or was it like they took the program and just kind of stamped or scrawled like canceled?
Scrawled.
Okay.
And it looks like it was somewhat ripped from the wall that was on. Like it's not
Yeah.
like a mass-produced
All right.
sheet. It was.
Well, I'm just gonna go find everybody.
Okay. And as you walk over to locate each person, less further in the distance, maybe as far as you can tell in the sink.
Sure.
In terms of distance, you hear another faint, like a
Right. I
another
definitely.
explosion.
I'll also. You know what? I'm gonna. While I'm awake, I'm gonna hop up in the rigging and get up to whatever counts as a crow's nest, and I just want to scan the city and see what sort of points of interest. Once that pops off, I'm like, yeah, I should take a look, and just kind of do like an eye for detail just around the city and see.
Big roll, perception check, eye for detail. Like let's.
Yeah.
Because even the guard drow who's up there with you hands you a kind of telescope type thing to look around. Here, check it out.
Guys, you know what? Sometimes I've never been much of a min-maxer, but
96.
So I rolled with advantage. I rolled a 3 and a 4, but guess what? That becomes a 10, which ends up being a 21. How about that?
21. So, towards the south, a ways, maybe probably close to where you had gone. It seems to be in the general direction of the Wang Doodle over there. Smoke and some fire from an explosion.
In the sink.
In the sink, towards where you guys went for the Wang Doodle.
Okay.
Hard to tell if it's maybe over there, but in that general direction.
Sure.
It would be safe to say that maybe either a building nearby or something was blown up.
Got it.
But yeah, dark clouds of smoke coming from it, some fire still, and then even just turning a little bit and kind of doing a perimeter, like a scan of the entire city, you can still see a little bit of light smoke from the other place, a bit further north.
And then something up in the what's the shelf look like right now?
The shelf, the Neil is fine. Doesn't seem to be anything coming from there. No smoke or fires from that. All this seems to be pretty localized to the lower part of Sky Point.
Okay. All right. Cool. Well, I'll try to find Taz and report back. Morning, Captain.
I don't know how I feel about that.
It's your boat, yeah? Makes you the captain. Yeah.
It's not a seaworthy boat, though.
Yeah, boat's a boat.
Your boat's a boat.
My boat is a boat. Where's our favorite sleepy boy?
Full mast.
Full mast? Oh.
You see him in the armor.
I heard boat references.
Yes.
Are you full mast right now, Yusuf?
It's that fuzzy armor, isn't it?
No, I'm not.
Okay, well, these things can change.
Ding.
Hey, so,
Ding!
not sure, couple interesting things. You may already know this. One, it feels like my frisky aunt may have hogtied your father.
Yeah, I watched that. That
Okay.
was very pleasing.
Yeah, she pretty much said, "Can I keep him?" So you should mull that over.
Oh, God.
I mean, she may just do awful things to him, so...
I don't know.
Tell her not to get any on the cloak.
I don't know if I want
No,
our families crossing that
Listen,
way.
we did...
Oh, does that not make you feel good?
we did these torture parties.
And he looks at her and then looks at Fetter and winks.
Yeah, I know. You fuckers. It's about time. We would do, listen, like, don't think it's all fun and games with Fee. We would do these torture parties where, like, we would get some, like, clerics in or, like, some healers, and we would just, like, open and shut an Iron Maiden on someone. Like, they would just, and then heal them and then do it again. Like, it got real. Fee's got a mean, like, you guys have, she's been remarkably well behaved. So I'm just saying that depending, it's not necessarily a sexual thing, at least not a sexual thing in the way that would skeek you out, you know, that hard. Two, several updates from the town. Seems that Smashdown has been canceled. So Bonhart is, I guess, being called up to the big leagues. I wonder if perhaps he's not taking up residency in the castle, but he's definitely not down suplexing people at the moment.
Well, I mean, when you have two versions of yourself that have been offed, I would get a little...
Yeah, so I imagine we'll see a beefy boy in a cloak sometime soon.
Speaking of new digs, how'd I sleep?
You slept probably the best you've slept in a while. Relatively dreamless, but very comfortable, but still warm. Very warm.
Okay.
I take a second to actually notice that you are wearing different armor, and there's just various... There's a moment of not necessarily concern or surprise, but definitely a like, ooh, and just go, wee. And I like point to you in a circular motion, and I'm like, we need to go talk to somebody about that.
Yeah, I was having similar thoughts, maybe going to see our friend in the bird nest. See what you could say.
Speaking of which, there was an explosion in the sink, so something's going off in your part of town. Queeness, Captain, Mistress of the Night.
Ringmastress.
Ringmastress. And it was in the direction of the Wang Doodle. So, our to-do list is quite long, but...
So's the Wang Doodle.
We need to start figuring out what our priorities are. I don't think checking in on the Wang Doodle was one of them, but...
Well, if it's in the vicinity...
Yeah.
Wait.
Well...
Wasn't that one of the last places they were seen, the Hellguard from Kenya, before we
I mean,
found them?
he did check in with Becky Sadness, so he may be trying to reverse engineer where we are.
Well, we do need, if anybody is going to be able to understand or know what that armor is, because Nax sure didn't. Sads.
I mean,
Sads will.
It seemed all right-ish.
I've slept the
I
best
looked
I
at it.
have in a while.
Yeah, there you
Say
go.
that.
That's
in
not
it.
always a good thing.
Well,
Sleeping?
so,
Positive effects.
all right, so, what are we doing? Are we raiding the Underdark right now? Are we going to see Becky Sadness on the way? What's your first royal edict as Queen of the Sink?
I've already sent some people out to get more information. I think we just need to gather some more information. I'm not going to be the person that's just going to hole up. So I'm going to let Taslinn and everybody else watch over this place. And I think we should go see Sads about this armor.
Yeah.
And check in on things since that's in the general direction.
Sure. I mean, I will say, if Bonhart has ascended out of his recreational pastime, our window to get down to rescue those gnomes could be closing very rapidly.
Oh, yes, I'm aware.
That was going to be my
That's gonna
next supposed stop.
I agree. First stop, though, is that I need to get out of this dress because while I look fabulous, not exactly the best thing to continue fighting in.
Sure.
So, I'll be right back.
Yeah, and you quickly go back down to
Yusuf waits for Fetter to follow her.
No, I mean, well, yeah, maybe. Sure, why not?
Accurate. You get down there, and there's still some older clothes of yours, and
I actually take what?
She walks away and he goes, Feder, really? She just said I need to get out of this dress.
I mean,
You didn't even say anything.
yeah, well, sometimes.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so I will actually ransack because old clothes, not really, some of them don't fit anymore. So I
Yeah.
will ransack Nax's wardrobe
sure.
and steal a couple of items from his wardrobe.
Sure.
I'm kind of into this whole kind of butch thing, this like mask thing.
Oh,
I
wait
don't hate it.
until you see this new like outfit design that I have in my head. You're gonna love it.
No,
Yeah.
yeah. Put a
And-
suit on.
The nice thing about
There's
Nax
suits
is-
on suits. Like, let's we can just rub lapels together.
the nice thing about Nax's frame, physique, and the way his clothes fit is that they never seem to fit weird or wrong on you.
There's only a little bit of tucking and
Yeah.
nipping that I need to do.
Tuck.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
But I need to get a certain someone to draw it up.
Yeah, and she comes out before too long with your new get-up.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah. The day is yours. Well, the noonday is yours.
I mean, we.
I kind of just update Taslinn and
Yeah.
about what we're gonna do and just what he needs to, keep an eye out for, get in touch with me for,
Indeed.
and all that.
And he gives affirmation and mentions that he's going to keep an eye on things, keep everything defensive. Those who are out and about are out and about, and come back, and everything you've asked. Leaving you guys free movement in the city.
Sounds great. This is weird, but sounds great.
To the Wang Doodle then.
Yeah? Mm-hmm. You guys start to make your way down to the Wang Doodle, and as you traverse downward, you notice that Yusuf gets a bit of a skip in his step, and then a sprint forward. And Yusuf, you feel light, excited. There's something to this idea that you're heading towards something dangerous that gives your chest a warm thump, and the armor around you heats up. The prospect of danger, excitement, possibly a fight, even if that might not be the case, there's something exciting about that. And the armor responds in kind, but you run fast and silent. You guys, as you're jogging to keep up, Taslinn and Feder, you see that
Oh, I'm not trying to keep up with him.
yeah, you're losing him, but quicker than you might think. And once I build this out, there will probably be, I'm thinking, maybe a 35 foot speed, a slight adjustment to that. I'm saying it here to codify it, make it happen.
Taslinn, no, don't run if she don't have to.
Yeah, and you guys eventually get closer to the smoke, the dark billowing smoke, and you find a completely exploded and shattered wistful Wang Doodle. The structure is gone. All that's left is the oak, or the kind of the tree stump that was carved to look like chicken legs. Mm-hmm. The hut is shattered. Bits and baubles are everywhere. No bodies, just lots of explosion and debris and smoke. It's hazy with smoke here as you arrive.
Immediate eye for detail.
Sure.
I'm just like, I don't. What did Sads get into this time?
9 becomes a 10 becomes a 21.
John, how does it smell?
In what way?
Like, does it smell any different for me than it normally would, being around like a burning building? Like, is it heightened in any way? Is it...
Not necessarily.
Okay.
If anything, you can place that it is more of an explosive, I guess. There might be a little bit more of like, it's easier to pick out the smells.
Okay.
But nothing too intense or that would change rolls of the dice.
Okay.
Just there's a little bit more of a good sense of it. Feder, there's
Yeah, just in general, like just
Yeah, there's
full detective mode. Like, what the fuck happened here?
You've got a few people around in the smoke who are innocent bystanders in stature and how they carry themselves. They're curious at what happened. Residents of the sink, poor folk, they're trying to see what happened here. And you don't see necessarily anyone in the crowd who is too strange, except for a little ways back, just staring at the place of where the explosion was, where the Wangdoodle used to be. You see maybe a teenager just staring blankly straight ahead, leaning on one leg a bit, and just blank stare, ashen face, kind of just looking at it and nothing else. And towards the base of the structure, you do see a sword that's been jammed into the stone, into the ground, with a pendant that dangles from it. And from where you're from where you're standing and where you're investigating, Feder, you can see that it's got a hand on it. This pendant.
Oh, the pendant's got a hand?
Yeah, the hand of Kania pendant on it.
I'm gonna. So first things first. I'm just gonna.
Yusuf, look. This was a warning. Or an announcement.
And then I'll turn and look at the teenager and be like, "You, what did you see?"
They look at you, have trouble focusing, and they just stare at you. Like slowly registering that there are more people here, that you are here.
Yeah.
And eventually they
And there's
shuffle.
Hey.
Yes. Are you? He looks you over, looks around. I'm supposed to give a message to the ones who need to hear it.
Is this person
Arcana
under?
draw.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
Yeah, I
Is
like.
this person under? I'll give you the help action because I'm looking for.
I definitely I hear the intonation and kind of and I'm just like, okay, Feder can see him, so this isn't a spirit, but what's going on? Okay,
Yeah, I definitely. I look at you and then look at them.
That's a 19 on the die, so that's 25.
Yes.
25. He is under some sort of thrall. And he's got a bit of a message he has to give, but
So I'm listening. I'm listening to him speak, but I am immediately scanning like the periphery for the final member of the Hand of Canian.
sure.
That's out here.
Yeah, and so far the search yields nothing. It seems still so far. A few people are still emerging. There are people trying to see what's going on, what happened. But it's not crazy yet. And eventually the teenager asks you guys again, are you the ones this is for?
Yes, speak up.
Unless you enjoy the fireworks, meet me at the fountain that looks like a beholder when the city deeply sleeps. And the teenager takes a big gasping breath and then blinks. What's going on?
Oh, wait, no, fuck, Sads? Fuck, okay.
You used to do you say Sads?
Yeah, I'm like, Sads?
And after, in the crowd, off in the distance, you hear like, huh?
Oh. And I start Marco Poloing. Sads?
Marco!
Polo! Yes?
Sads?
Yeah? Yes?
Where are you, Sads? Sads?
Hold on. And you hear like a in the ground, and just some of the cobblestone bricks pull apart a little bit, and out climbs Peggy Sadness, just in her white, pure white tiefling kind of elongated form, and just hi.
Oh, good. So this wasn't you, was it, Sads? It wasn't. Right?
Oh no, my place.
Yeah.
Just looking for some things, and heard Boom.
Well, I'm glad Boom did not get you, Sads.
Oh, nothing could get the Sads. And then she realizes that Taslinn. Oh, it's you. Oh,
Hi! Hi.
Ah, yes. Ownership suits you.
Oh, that traveled fast.
What travel fast?
The wind.
Yes. This
Has to
is
do that.
really unfortunate for me. She looks. I need a moment. Can I have it?
Oh, you can have all the moments you need, Sads.
Thanks. And she scurries over
Yusuf
and starts
is
to
gonna,
like climb onto the stump of like the tree stump and start to like kind of try to pull at it a little bit and just weird examinations of what used to be her place. But not like any sort of like trying to pull the stump apart, trying to pull at the bark a bit with her longer claws. Just and she's perched now on the legs and just my things.
Yusuf is going to go over and look at the sword and the pendant.
It's just basic old scimitar jammed into the ground with the pendant, Hand of the Cania, on it, dangling from it. Sword probably that he found and put in as a calling card. You know the type of person who might do that. Like, if they want to get the attention, this is someone who wants to be found, but that's someone who will keep doing this because it is a cheap sword, rusted. Any like couple copper pieces could find a sword like this at any market stall.
Okay.
A lot shorter building now, you hear in the distance.
And I'll say, Becky, we are unfortunately have
Oh, yeah.
something to do with bringing this misfortune to you, and therefore we will do what we can to make it right.
Oh, yes. There's lots to be done. Yes. Although you have your plate full of food. She looks around. And just turns back to her perch. Yeah. Oh, yes.
Hey, Sads. Mm-hmm. When you have a second, my
For
friend
both of
here,
you, I have all the seconds in the world.
I love it. So my friend here, and I clap Yusuf on the shoulder,
Oh.
has put on some new armor.
She kind of like does a startle, but kind of gets into like a cat sort of backing up against the wall position, like, sorry.
Okay. That
Thank
says
you
a
for
lot.
the glove, by the way. It was very useful.
I was wondering where that went. Yes. Glove, the snappy snaps.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yes.
Yusuf, buddy, we have to keep Sads on track. She goes off. Sads.
I'm sorry. I was just trying to remind her who I was.
Yes.
Oh, she knows.
Yes. You are the. I don't have it, but you are from Cania. You murdered that. You killed the. There was death. Murderer. In a good way, I suppose.
Right. Sure. Carrying on.
Yes.
Nax never was able to identify this armor, but it left some curious after effects for its previous wearer. I would like to know if you might be able to help us figure out what it is, what it does.
I guess I can do that. That's possible. I have that ability. It's a whole thing. But if you're okay with it, I will find out what its deal is.
Sure.
Cool.
That would be lovely.
Come here. Come. And she reaches out, kind of almost like give me a hug,
Okay.
sort of thing.
I just lightly push Yusuf forward.
And her
He walks toward her.
No, I know.
her arms get a little bit longer as her form just kind of brings you into an embrace, but longer arms than you realize as you got closer. So she kind of spidered around you and is holding on to you and just long sniffs. And this goes on for about a few minutes as the rest of you are either watching this or exploring it, but she is just sniffing.
He's gonna hug her back And while he's doing that, he's going to check to see if she's injured at all.
Okay. Do it.
Cop in a field.
Perception's a 14.
14?
Or medicine, 14, whichever you... Same roll.
She
Same
seems
roll.
well.
Okay.
Like she wasn't in the blast area.
Okay, good.
But I you do your brace. She like sighs, and then, and eventually, feel kind of this magical surge as she does the identify spell, and you hear a high pitched shriek as she falls off, and like, okay, you have to be careful. You have the ability to rage, to get into an anger that will benefit your combat. The longer you stay in it, the more it holds on to you. It'll be very hard to stop. You will get power at the cost of your body. Be careful. The last person in the outfit was a bit of an asshole. So it's okay that he goes, but you smell very nice. You have a frosty smell.
Am I cursed?
Well, so,
Can I take
sort
the
of.
armor off? Is it bound to me? Is it...
Have you gone to sleep yet?
Yes.
And then yes, it's bound to you. It's interested in you. You can try to take it off. Not here. It's improper and impolite. A lot of people staring.
Used
And
to
if you
that.
take it off, I would take it.
Well, that's stealing. That's also improper.
Well, yes. But we are both of impropriety. Thieving, killing, you know how it, There's a lot one can glean from a smell. This one is chasing you. Or rather, he's waiting for you. You may have to be angry enough to take care of him.
Anger doesn't really enter into this one.
Oh, that's good.
Okay.
Use your rage sparingly, is all I can say, and this will serve you well. For now.
Very well. Thank you.
Yes, you're welcome. Sorry I couldn't offer you hospitality, but yeah.
Yusuf is going to look at where the sword is again, and he's going to see if he can pick up some tracks.
Sure.
Help action.
Nat 20.
No, never mind.
So 25 survival.
You can see some tracks, though the area is sunken enough and submerged enough on the ground that you do lose it after a little while, but in a more towards the wall, towards the city, towards the northwest a little bit. And the Sads looks at you, looking at the ground and the thing, and yes, I imagine you were right on the money, and northwest is where you go, and there is that one. She points to Taslinn. Taslinn. I'm sure you've seen it. The Beholder's Wash, the statue of the one that supposedly runs the Mist Shadow Enclave.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Whether he's real or not, I mean, he totally is. But it's a fountain, and it's good vantage point for a good kill spot.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good information. Thank you.
Well, yeah. Cool. I see stars. A robe of stars, actually.
Oh boy.
Oh boy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Oh, you don't see it?
Oh, I don't need to see it because I know where it is.
It's bound in iron.
Yes, it is.
Yes. Oh. And she's kind of now grabbing things from the air, and it's starting to get more abstract. Ah, yes. It'll rain a little bit this afternoon.
Rain what?
Water.
Like tears?
I think
then-
this is just the weather report.
Okay, fair.
Good time for tea. Or so someone says. And now this is starting to get less helpful as she kind of resumes her perch and starts just saying things every now and then and picking up broken pieces of her storefront. And you notice that there aren't any guards per se or anyone who seems to care about this section. Feder, you especially notice this. That
Yeah.
For something like this that's kind of boom boom, there would be guards or constabulary here trying to suss out the situation. Not so much in this weird tucked away part of the sunken outside wall.
Ringmaster.
You hear
Perhaps-
a giggle, just a high cackled giggle.
Perhaps we
Great.
can leverage some of your resources to assist our friend here. This is your neighborhood now, isn't it?
Well, not the entire sink, but Sads, if you need a
Yes.
place to stay, you can always go to the carnival, and once things have stay out of the hall, but once things have kind of settled, we can certainly see what we can do about repairing.
Yes. Can I eat the caged one? And her teeth, she smiles really wide, and the face kind of contorts a bit, and it gets more fangy. Like, yeah, yummy.
I hold up a finger. Hold on, and I just kind of like check in with Nax and be like, Sads wants to eat the displacer beast.
The
Invisible stalker.
Invisible stalker.
Oh,
There's a moment. If you could feel a raised eyebrow on the inside of your soul, that's fucked up. I don't hate the idea. But also, that could go very wrong.
yeah. I just kind of like lower my hand and I'm like, Sads, you
Yeah.
are not off limits from eating it, but only if it misbehaves. Don't provoke it, but if it starts to get out of line, sure.
Sure. Yes, I'll start heading that way. She looks at herself. We'll see how I do.
Vote of confidence.
Yeah. And she starts to spider climb down from the little stump and just
I was like, well,
starts scurrying away. Unless there's anything last minute that you need to ask her, she just starts going.
Never get used to that.
there's nothing to be done here for a bit. We should head somewhere. The portal, maybe? How are we making our way down into the...
Well, we can go to the portal, have some tea.
Maw, right?
Yeah,
Maw.
we can go to the maw, have some
Gaping
tea.
maw.
Gaping maw.
Gaping maw.
We can go to the maw, have some tea, check it out, check in with some people, sneak around. Sounds great.
Does Tal have a... Is there a back door or a circuitous route that you all were using?
I don't know because that was all set up after I was gone.
Okay.
That would be something I'd have to check in. I'm
Alright.
sure we could find somebody that would be able to.
Yusuf, how do you want to play this? This is your...
I don't know enough about, are there any maps or anything of the mine itself? Do we have access to any of that? Or is there a place we could find that? I don't know if...
Wouldn't happen to be in that big dossier you received, would it?
If it was,
Anything
I'm
about the
sure
maw?
they'd probably be out of date. If they're digging a mine, it's changing every day.
Sure.
Well, and Nax didn't necessarily share much of that with me when we were going over.
Best bet would probably be to, if there's a foreman office or something, that might be the best place to find whatever is the most current, up to date. I mean, if we're going underground, there's so many places it could be.
Right. So let's start with a late lunch and case the joint and see what we can see from at least the top side, right?
Yeah, that seems like a good plan.
I haven't.
Where is this fountain?
So, Taslinn, you would know that it's not a very, like, it's not a huge landmark, big deal, but roughly around there.
Oh, it's inside the gates?
Yes.
Oh, you said northwest.
Sorry, northeast.
Got
Sorry,
it.
northeast.
Okay.
Directions good at not.
Goes somewhere in here.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it was, the message was much later, and like we still have several hours before
Right, when it gets dark.
when the city is at its sleepiest, which is well past midnight.
Probably 3:30, 4.
Like 2-ish.
All right. Well,
That's true. Baker's get up early. All right. My thought is that, well, I do want to get down there and help. I don't want anyone or more innocents to be hurt by places blowing up while this creature is searching for me.
yeah, but I think he's made his stand. Yeah, he's given us a time and a place. So whatever he's going to do, as far as I can tell, you're a stand-up lot, right? He's gotten your attention. He's made his deal. Like, we should have time before that. I think we would do well to be there tonight. But, I mean,
Do we want to be there early is my question.
sure, but 12 hours early. And at this point, I don't know. Every day, underground, any disruption we have. Because, like, at this point,
Right.
we've pulled the drow out. They're going to be out. They'll be replaced by some sort of sell swords or mercenaries within the day.
You're right, we should go now. All right.
I don't want to thrust us. I mean, this is a big deal, and we should not go about it hastily. But the longer we wait, the more reinforcements there will be.
Yep.
Besides, if this feeling that I've been having from this job, mission, whatever you want to call it, from the Raven Queen has anything to do with Bonham and his little replicants, there's definitely one in the maw. So, might as well go handle that too.
Very
Yeah.
well.
To the gaping maw.
Gaping maw!
You guys make your way.
I would say that anything we do around the city, we should do. I mean, I think Assassin's Creed stealth, and I'm keeping my eyes up as we go. You know what I mean? Like, not like sneakabouts, but I think we're trying to keep a particularly low profile at the moment.
The plan is to find some way down into the undercity of Skypoint to rescue the gnomes. The obstacle, the gaping maw. While I've never performed there, I have patronized it a few times. It's okay. I don't feel slighted by their disinterest in my stories one bit. Nope, not bitter at all. Time for me to go not be bitter elsewhere. I'll be back, and there will be a shit ton more from these demon days.
mean,
Get the
That's fair.
whole way in there.
Getting in there. Nice and good. All right. Once we're all ready for the yelling, we can ease into it.
Oh boy.
I'll speak us in once we're all ready. I'll talk us in.
I have to like get into the space.
When you say get into the space, I keep thinking of like some DIY projects, like videos I've edited, where it's like we gotta make this space, we gotta build the space, come up with the space, and this is gonna be a different space.
All I think about is like Adrian Brody doing a bunch of like really aggressive push-ups right before we would do takes on the experiment, and just be like, roll the camera, and you're like, okay,
all right, sir, all right, you guys good? Just making sure that they're good.
choking it down.
All right.
It's so funny to me that your main income grab right now is voiceover, and yet you are so freaking loud whenever we record these podcasts.
how do you mean?
That's my no.
You're
Just kidding.
Yes? Can I help you?
Just so everybody knows, we're having this really intense moment, and Drew is standing up and getting pages and moving things and everything like that, and he's sitting in a leather chair, and it makes a lot of noise. And I know John will be very capable of turning off the mic that's picking everything up, but I still hear it.
I apologize.
You know. It's okay. Go.
one second.
Oh yeah, the giant truck.
You do that last line again. Once it passes.
Drew, roll for initiative.
You okay, buddy?
He's tired.
Yeah.
I think he
He's
hit a wall.
sleepy boy.
He's gonna need food.
Yeah. Okay. Recording.
The recording of the record.
We are recording.
Recording. The record.
Very recording.
Get the recording done.
We're going to record. It's going to be
Record.
very...
Right.
Do you have a record?
Recorder.
Yeah. Recorder. I'm sorry. Do you have a Ricola?